All right, once again, this is the continuation of our discussion last time. And like I promised, we are going to discuss this particular exercise that I asked you to answer. Okay, so again, we are going to make an equation in terms of either x or y. So in this particular problem, what we need to do is to change one of the equations. And as you can see here, it would be easier if I am going to change the first equation for me to get the third equation. So let's say, for example, I'm going to change this one. So first, I'm going to rewrite it as 3x minus 8 is equivalent to y, 2y. So notice that what I did is just I moved this 8 here, and I moved this minus 2y on this side, which will give you an idea that, okay, this is going to be the answer. So all you need to do is to just flip it like a mirror. So like a mirror image, the right side of the equation will now go to the left side, and the left side of the equation will now go right. So from here, you can now create an equation in terms of y, wherein the y is the result if you have 3x minus 8 divided by 2. Okay, so now this is going to serve as your equation number 3. So knowing that this is equation number 3, this is your equation number 1, and this is your equation number 2. So in here, we know that equation number 3 came from equation number 1. So that means what we need to do is to use equation number 2. Equation number 2 for us to substitute this particular value of y. So equation number 3 is 4x plus 3y is equivalent to 5. So now what you're going to do is you're going to replace this y with this particular value, 3x minus 8 over 2. So this is how it's going to look like. 4x plus 3 multiplied by the value of y is equivalent to 5. And we know that the value of 5 of the y is equivalent to 3x minus 8 over 2. Okay, so just like what we usually do here, we're going to expand this equation, okay, by multiplying this one to the 3x and this one to negative 8. So this is going to give us an expanded version of 4x plus 9x minus 24 over 2 is equivalent to 5. So now as you see here, guys, we encounter an equation with a fraction. So what we need to do here is just like what we usually do if we encounter a fraction, we multiply the whole equation by that particular denominator. Okay, so if you multiply the whole fraction, the whole equation by a particular number, this one now will now become 8x, and this will now be canceled. So you will get a remainder, which is the numerator. So the numerator now will be the same as it is, and then the last term will now become 10. So from here, all you need to do is to just solve for the value of x. So you will combine these two, and this one will go to the other side to give you a calculation of 17x is equivalent to 10 plus 24, which gives you 17x is equivalent to 34. And now x is equivalent to 2. So if you know, we divide 34 by 17 and we are going to get a value of 2. So now, having this said, what you need to do next is to solve for the value of y. So the best way for us to solve for the value of y is to go back to the equation number 3. So if this is equation number 3, we now know that all we need to do for us to get the value of y is to substitute this value x to that particular variable x there. So this will now give us a calculation of y is equivalent to 3 times the value of x, which is equivalent to 2, minus 8 over 2. Okay, so this is going to be a calculation of 6 minus 8 over 2, and you will now have negative 2 over 2. So this is going to give you an answer of negative 1. So y now is equivalent to, negative 1. All right. I hope you guys were able to understand this. So now, as soon as you get this particular answer, all you need to do is to write down the solution. Solution now is equivalent to x is 2 and y is negative 1. All right. I hope you guys were able to understand that. Okay. So now we're going to go to this particular question. Oops. Okay. So in this equation, you will be seeing that the x and y variables are in the numerator and denominator respectively, and the answer is going to give you a fractional value. Okay, so in here what we need to remember is to know that we can automatically cross multiply. This is the most efficient technique that you guys can learn. So this means that we multiply this 2 to x plus 1, and then this 1 to y plus 2. So in here, this is going to give us a calculation of 2 times the value x plus 1 is equivalent now to 1 times the value of y plus 2. So we will just put it as y plus 2 here. So from here, what you need to do is to distribute this 2 to each and one of the terms inside the bracket. So this is now going to give us a calculation of 2x plus 2 is equivalent to y plus 2. Okay, so now once you encounter this kind of problem, you have to understand that the format of the equation that you must have should be in ax plus by is equivalent to k, where ax is the term for the x, the by is the term for the y, and the k is a constant value. So what you need to do for you to construct equation number 1 here, all right, you have to move some of the terms for them to follow that particular format. So that means the y goes here, and then the positive 2 goes there. Okay, so if you are now going to rewrite equation number 1, this is now going to give us 2x minus y is equivalent now to 0. Okay, now the same procedure is what you're going to apply if you are going to answer the second part. So that means in here, you are going to multiply 3 times x minus 2, and then the other one is multiplied to 1. So that means the answer will just be the same. So instead of you multiplying it by that 1, all you need to do is to rewrite that particular answer. And then we are going to distribute this 3 again, which will give us a calculation of 3x minus 6 is equivalent to y minus 1. So from here, what you need to do is, again, to follow this kind of method so that you will have the correct format. So again, the y goes to this side, and then the negative 6 goes to that side. giving you a new format of equation number 2 as a value of 3x minus y is equivalent to 5. All right, so now we have changed these two equations into this particular format. So what we need to do now is to look for the equation number 3. And for us to find equation number 3, all we need to do is to look for a certain value for either x and y. So in my case, I can see clearly that this one is the easiest one for us to convert. So equation number 3 will now give us this kind of calculation. So you will just move the y over there, and you will have 2x is equivalent to y, or we can say that y is equivalent to 2 times x. All right, so the same pattern is what you're going to apply. As soon as you get an equation number 3 coming from equation number 1, so this equation, equation number 3, will now be substituted to equation number 2. So this is how it's going to look like. 3x minus 2x, which is the value of the y, is equivalent now to 5. So here, you will now get x as equivalent to 5. All right. I hope you guys were able to understand that. And then as soon as you get the value of the x, all you need to do is to just, again, put this particular value here. So if we plug in the x to this y is equivalent to 2x, which is equation number 3, then you will arrive with a calculation of y is equivalent to 2 times 10, 2 times 5, I mean, which gives you y as equivalent to 10. All right, so meaning to say, the solution for this equation is that, for these equation is that x is equivalent to 5 and y is now equivalent to 10. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is to stop this video and try to answer this particular one. Okay, you may stop it now. All right, so let's say that you calculated this one. We are going to see now whether you will arrive with the same answer that I got, so that we can see, or we can assume that you guys fully understand this particular technique. So here, we cross multiply, just like what we say, cross multiply. So this equation will now give us a calculation of 3 times x minus 1 is equivalent to 2 times y minus 3. So from here, the same thing, we multiply this factor outside to each and one of the terms inside the grouping symbol. So this is now going to give us 3x minus 3 is equivalent to 2y minus 6. And then, just like what we did a while ago, we are going to put this in a format of ax plus by is equivalent to k. So if you are going to do that, you will now be able to acquire the equation number 1. So equation number 1 will now give us 3x minus 2y, okay, is equivalent to negative 3. So for those who did not understand that, we're going to put this one here and this negative 3 over here for us to get a calculation of negative 6 plus 3. Okay. Next equation is by the use of cross multiplication again. So we're going to do the same procedure over and over for us to be able to get a one-liner equation, or an equation without any fraction. Okay, so this is going to be 2 times x minus 2 is equivalent to y minus 1 times 1. So it will just be the same. All right, and then we expand. So this is going to give us 2x minus 4 is equivalent to y minus 1. So from here, you are now going to rewrite this as equation number 2 that says that if we move this here, this will give us 2x minus y is equivalent now to, this one will go here. So you will see that this is going to give us 3, because negative 1 plus 4 is equivalent to 3. Now, just like what we say under the rule of substitution, one of the equations must be in terms of x or in terms of y. So in this case, the easiest one that I can see is to have this particular equation to be written as in terms of y. So let's say, for example, I'm going to make it I'm going to make it 2x is minus 3 is equivalent to y. So notice that I moved the 3 to the other side and I moved the y here. And just like in the mirror image, we are just going to flip them. So that's going to be y is equivalent to 2x minus 3. So this is now going to be your equation number 3. And equation number 3 came out from equation number 2, which means that this equation has to be substituted to equation number 1. So if you are going to do that, this is going to give you a calculation of 3x minus 2 times the value of the y, which is equivalent to 2x minus 3, is now said to be equivalent to 3. Negative 3, I mean. Negative 3. So, in this case, if you're going to calculate this, this will now give you an expanded version of minus 4x is equivalent now to minus 4x, and then the other one is going to be plus 6 is equivalent to negative 3. And we simplify the x. This is going to give us minus x. And this is going to be a calculation of minus 3 minus 6, which will now give you negative x is equivalent to negative 9. So you cancel the 9 here, and you are going to get, cancel the negative sign, and you will now get an answer of 9 for the x. Okay, so now since we already solved for the x, all we need to do again is to use the equation number 3. So we're just gonna plug this one here to there, and then we solve for the value of y. So let's say this is now the calculation. Y is equivalent to 2 times the value of x subtracted by 3. So we know that the value of x is equivalent to 9. And if we simplify that, this is going to give us 18 minus 3, which tells us that the y is now equivalent to 15. Okay? So I hope you guys were able to understand that. And if you are confused, or if you want to know whether your answer is correct or not, all you need to do is to just substitute these values to any of those equations that you guys get. So let's say, for example, I want to prove it from the first or the second equation. So let's say, for example, I will prove it using equation number 2. So we know that the equation is x minus 2 over y plus 1. So if we put x minus 2 there, x minus 2, this is going to be a calculation of 9, which is the value of x minus 2 over y, which is 15, minus 1, is said to be equivalent to a value of half. All right, so if we calculate this 9 minus 2, this will now give you an answer of 7. And this 15 minus 1 will give you an answer of 14. according to them, is equivalent to 1/2. And if you simplify 7 over 14, then you will know that these two are just the same. Okay. All right. So I hope you guys understood how to answer this one. If you are confused, all you need to do is to just re-watch the video and look at the details on how to find the answers for each and one of the equations. Okay, that would be it. And I hope you guys learned something new today. Bye.